Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conspiracy Farm, where we don't start the conspiracies, we just add the water. And now, your host of the most state-of-the-art, most informed podcast on the interweb, I present to you Pat Miletich and Jeffrey Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for war?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, part 2 of the 100th episode of the Conspiracy Farm. Man, this has been a nice, awesome day. First episode with Sam Tripoli. Great conversation, great friend of the show. And this guy here, man, he has been rolling with us literally from day one. This guy, I mean, I can't thank him enough for his awesome, faithful support to the Conspiracy Farm. He is one of our sponsors. He is the El Jefe of Chemical Free Body. Ladies and gentlemen, some great announcements tonight, some awesome information, and if you want some of his products, check out www.theconspiracyfarm.com. Again, he is one of our sponsors, so you can go click the link, or if you want to go to his page, www.thechemicalfreebody.com/farmer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Tim James, what's up, brother?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on again. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And as always, for the 100th time, I am rolling shotgun with my homeboy, Pat Miletich. What's going on, champ?
Well, it's very hot, half Caucasian you to include me.
I would never leave you out. Have I ever left you out? Except for that one. Except for that one time.
No.
Except for that one time.
Yes.
That one time.
Yes.
One
Okay.
out of 100. Come on, man. That's some good averages right there. My goodness.
Ultimately, we're pumped to have Tim back on because Tim's
Always
been doing a bunch of great stuff. And look, I had to reach out to Tim for help for a lady that I went to school with in high school who's battled for over a decade with cancer. And she's given up on the chemo and the radiation and all the other stuff. And so we've gone the chemical-free body route. And I shipped her some stuff, and Tim shipped her some stuff, and you know, we're about ready to undertake a pretty big project. I'm hoping it's not too late for her. Right, Tim?
Yeah, you know what, Pat? You just never know, because I've had people that I've worked with that have been way worse off than she is, that surprised me, and they made it, and I didn't think they were going to make it. And then there's been people that looked a lot better than she is, and then they didn't make it. So, you know, a lot of it really boils down to attitude and their why they want to live, and a lot of other factors, but you just don't know. All you can do is what I do as a healer is basically, and I don't heal anybody, and I'm not a doctor, so there's my disclaimer, and I don't provide medical advice, is I provide the frequency and the support and the hope that they can live, because a lot of times they don't have that. They don't have that. And then that's like that one. So if I can help them raise their frequency up and believe that they can heal, that's their best shot before anything they eat or take or supplements, any of that kind of stuff.
Continuing the fight, right? So I had a fighter that I trained many years ago. His dad was asked a question. It was interesting because I was privy to it. And somebody asked him the question. They said, "When do you get old?" And he said, "It's the moment you stop caring. The moment you stop caring is when you truly get old." And that was something that has stuck with me. I mean, that was probably 15 years ago. And it's true. It really is. You can tell when people just stop caring and give up and get old.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like what you just alluded to, Tim, even with cancer patients, I think you could kind of, transfer that into just normal life, right? You look at Dr. Bruce Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief, our thought process, our mindset can truly, truly dictate our biology. So a good positive mindset is absolutely important, man. Not even just, as a cancer patient, but just generally in life, man. You gotta keep that positive attitude going.
It's all about the attitude. Totally. And I want to congratulate you guys on your 100th episode.
Man,
that's awesome.
Thank you so much, Tim. I don't even say it flippantly, man. Your support has been so crucial. It's tough doing a show like this to get, sponsors online. We're never going to get Snickers and Bud Light, et cetera. But I mean, I don't even want that. I want stuff like what you're
Yeah,
doing,
we
man.
don't want Snickers and Bud Light.
Well, I'm just
right?
saying. I mean, mainstream sponsors, a little scared, but I mean, you've got a huge company, and you're transforming lives, and that's really kind of a lot of what we talk about on the show here, man. Just information helping to transform lives, and even not medical stuff, but health and wellness materials that you have. Greens 85, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not have Green 85 in your cabinet right now, for the love of all decency, what is wrong with you? Run out there.
Drink right now.
chemicalfreebody.com/farmer. I'm telling you, and I'm not even saying it because Tim is a sponsor. Dude, this stuff, it is absolute game changer. So refresh everybody, Tim. I mean, Greens 85, that is some of the dopest concentrated vegetables you could possibly get. Break it down for us.
I will. Make sure you guys that are listening, two things. Number one, please share this videos with your friends and promote the Conspiracy Farm, and let's double their viewership and get the message out there. That's number one, and help you guys grow this so they can do it full time. That would be awesome. Number two is the greens, and why they work so well is because I have a doctor on staff with me. Is Dr. Scott Treadway. He's a formulator, master herbalist. He's got a great story. I mean, that guy was going to Cornell University to become a medical doctor like other people in his family. He was expected to become Scott Treadway MD, and he said, I don't want to. He got into it. He's like, this isn't what I wanted. So he went into naturopathic medicine, started studying there. He's like, this isn't deep enough. This isn't what I want. And then he ended up going to India and studying under two in an apprenticeship program over two lineages, two different clinics that have over 1,000 years of apprenticeship, where they pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. Over the years, they figured out basically what doesn't work, and from that he studied Chinese herbology and then also Western herbology. So he's mixing Indian herbology, Chinese herbology, and Western herbology, and actual clinical work. Like, he worked with patients on a daily basis. So this isn't just some nerd in the laboratory all the time. He was out in the front lines. And now he's the nerd in the laboratory, right? But and he's a great guy, and he truly wants to help people. So he knows how herbs are going to affect the human physiology or the body inside and out when he makes the formulas because of all his training. So having him on board and being able to mentor under him has been one of the reasons why my products work so well. It's not because of me. It's because I got so frustrated with, as a health coach, and now, coaching people on their whole lives, that, these supplements are needed when people are on a cliff and they're about to fall off and they have health issues or whatever. And I do all this research and I find this really awesome product. And I'm like, okay, this is great. You're going to use this to clean your gut. And this is going to help you clean your blood and your fat and your muscle tissue. And this one's going to give you the nutrients like the greens. And these are the best probiotics. And then I'd find out 6 months later that they changed the ingredients, or they got bought out by a big corporation and they slipped synthetics in there. And it's like, I'd do all this research over and over and over again. This happened multiple times, guys. Like, I'd have my little repertoire. I didn't want to start a supplement company. There was like, that's a lot of work, and it's like, out of frustration, that's where it came. And I was introduced to Dr. Scott Treadway after about 30 different interviews. And he finally was the guy. I knew it in my heart. I felt it. And because he was really, truly wanting to help people. So that's why my products work, is because that guy's a freaking genius. And he's been doing this stuff for 37 years. And he consults with 17 of the top nutritional supplement companies in the world. They hire him to make formulas and do that kind of stuff.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but I almost have to, because I've, throughout the years of being a professional fighter, professional coach, all that good stuff, supplement companies have come along that were very, very high level, right? Mm-hmm. Not to your level even, but in different areas of supplementation. Let's put it that way. That they were very, very good.
Yeah.
And there were several of them that, I mean, there was a product called G2 or Oxy 2. I'm trying to remember. I'm not going to mention the company, but it was literally every antioxidant known to man put into these capsules, and the capsule itself was a rice protein spray, like whatever compound, so that your body would accept it like food. And it worked. It worked. I literally, from the moment I started taking it, went from sparring 4 rounds with professional boxers to 12 rounds with professional boxers 2 weeks later. My endurance I was doing things that I never even dreamed of being able to do. Then there were other products that were turning my mother's hair from white to salt and pepper and improving my brother's eyesight. My brother's eyesight was going backwards in prescriptions. He had to go back and get old glass prescriptions. And then they were bought out, and then they took a dive because they just put fillers in and a bunch of other stuff and destroyed those products. So you're one of those few out there that has not sold out, has not allowed fillers to go into your products. Everything is all natural, chemical free, and incredible stuff.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. That's awesome. So I do have to give a lot of the credit to Dr. Treadway, but one thing that's cool about our relationship is I challenge everything. So when he says something, I'm always challenging things as I'm learning, and I've actually, gave him a few ideas along the way, and we made some changes to some things. So that's because I want to get to the bottom of stuff,
It's really cool that he, as smart as he is, obviously, he probably could have been a great doctor with allopathic medicine. And a lot of people go into allopathic medicine and think that's kind of the be-all, end-all. And they do help people's lives, but, I mean, transferring that into naturopathic, in my opinion, that's more preventative health care, getting not waiting for the bomb to go off before you call in the bomb squad, like making sure you're taking care of this stuff preemptively, so you're not going in for emergency surgery because of this or that, which allopathic medicine, does treat and does help. But naturopathic medicine, in my opinion, helps, like I said, be more proactive with your health care. And like we talk about all the time when you're on, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And that's really in the vein of more naturopathic than obviously allopathic. So that's cool, man. I'd really like to meet that guy.
Yeah, his story, dude, I'm not going to get into all of it, but before he was even a doctor, he healed his son of attention deficit disorder. And he actually went to like a canning company that was selling, I think it was ketchup. It was like Heinz or something. And the big vats, after they're done, at the bottom there's waste that they get rid of. And he put a deal together and got that waste material. Now, this isn't like now because the stuff's all GMO'd and sprayed and stuff like that with chemicals. But you get that stuff, and he made supplements out of that and gave it to his son, and that healed his son of attention deficit disorder because of all the nutrients that were at the bottom from all those the tomatoes. It was amazing. Wow. So this guy his stories are so awesome, and like to have the instincts to do that. I mean, what dad would just like figure this stuff out on his own, research it, and then go to a company and scrape up the bottom of a vat full of tomato paste and figure it out? You know what I mean? It was like really cool.
And going back to what Pat was saying, man, and we have this conversation almost every time you're on, as far as choosing a better quality of life for yourself. You know what I mean? The food choices we make, I mean, me included sometimes, we know a lot of this stuff is bad for us and it's poison, but yet we still continue to consume it, even in light of all this information we have about raw fruits and vegetables, drinking water, chewing your food, et cetera, et cetera. How do we get people to care more? Like Pat was saying, you get old when you stop caring, and you just see that. You walk around and see people's grocery carts. It's like, wow, there's freaking diabetes right there in that cart. And you got 5 or 6 kids or how many kids hanging out with mom, and she's just buying them garbage. How do we do that? How do we bridge that gap?
So what I try to do now is I try to meet people where they're at, and just, a lot of, like you said, a lot of people know that a lot of the stuff is, denatured. It's not good. It's fried. But there's so many deep emotional ties to food. Like mom used to bring you food when you were a kid, and you love your mom. And maybe that's the only thing that you and your mom have together because you don't have a good relationship. I know a lady that I told her about this kind of stuff in the beginning. She's like, I have to make that stuff, or otherwise my kids will never come see me, And then there's emotional trauma that we get out of people in the coaching program. Maybe they got beat when they were a little kid, or molested, or crazy stuff. Or they use food as a dope.
Or a spouse that's maybe an incredible cook who makes all kinds of different types of food, and then takes offense to you wanting to be healthier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our whole program is designed around this, because a lot of people aren't going to get coached in reality. I mean, they have to, like on our program, you have to go online, you have to fill out a form on the coaching tab, and then schedule a time with me or one of my coaches. And when they fill out that form, people are usually like, oh my God, I didn't realize, like, when I was filling out that form, I just realized, how bad of a situation I'm in, and I got to do something just by filling out the form. But how many people take the time to fill out a form that asks a bunch of health questions?
Right.
They don't. The only time that usually happens is when they have a lump or a tumor, or
Yeah.
they have a heart attack, and then they have to fill out forms and tell everything that's happened about them. So what we did is in our program, with our daily detox program and these nutritional supplements, is just give people a leg up. And the foundation of that, again, is drinking adequate amounts of, number one, adequate amounts of purified water. Number two, chewing their food until liquefied. Number three, avoiding liquids with meals. Game changer, big time. And then number four is breath work, and just taking some deep breaths, Just a few of those before you eat to bring you back into rest and digest mode and take you out of fight or flight, because you are stressed out, and it's the number one killer in America is stress. So those basic four things don't cost anything. And for those of you listening today, if you can program reoccurring appointments in your phone to remind you to drink water, chew your food, avoid liquids, and take some breath work when you eat and stuff like that, that will change your life. You'll start feeling better. You want to take it to another level. We have our products to help you detox and cleanse and get some nutrition and give you more energy and mental clarity to start losing the weight. And that's where you start people. You don't start them with exercise. You don't start them with dietary changes unless they got like stage 4 something and they're ready to do it. The average person is so busy and so polluted and so just inundated with their bodies full of chemicals that they just don't have the energy to do anything. They don't want to make any changes. So this starts changing things. Like, if you guys notice that you've been drinking water, just taking the greens, have you noticed your taste buds changing?
A little bit, yeah. I have been eating some kind of weird, not weird, but
Well,
stuff.
what's weird for me is that I'm liking meat less and less.
Taste buds will change. Typically, hunger cravings will go down. Instead of eating a whole plate, you'll eat half a plate. These types of things. This is what we get consistently. Right. From our clients. So that's how it begins. We help people change their physiology from the inside out by cleaning out the gut, cleaning up the blood and the fat and the muscle tissue, and supplying the body with what's missing in the soil. It's just not in our food. I mean, most people's food shipped on average 1,500 to 2,500 miles. How healthy is that going to be? It's dead. Even cucumbers and celery.
Do you find through your coaching that, people just don't have, almost like obese people, like they go to the gym the first day, like, oh my God, I got to do this again tomorrow. Like, they just don't have patience for the process. Do you find that in some of your coaching?
Yeah. And they also, what they do is they go for 2 or 3 hours in the gym, kill themselves, and get so sore they never put their tennis shoes on again the next day. That's a big problem. So for me, for people, if they want to do exercise, I want them to walk around the block or walk down to the mailbox. Or I want them to get on a mini trampoline and bounce 10 times. Or I'll have them do that's pretty much it for exercise. And they're like, what are you talking about? 10 times? I can do longer than that. Well, I'm sure you can, but the habit's more important than the amount. Like, if you're going to run a marathon, you don't just go run a marathon. You start off, run a mile, run 2 miles, and you work your way up. So the habit's more important. And what they find is when they go outside, they know all they got to do is walk to the mailbox or walk around the block. They're going to probably walk a little bit farther.
Yeah.
They're going to bounce on that mini trampoline a little bit more. And that's how change starts. It's about the habit, and movement is more important than actually going and just killing yourself and trying to run a marathon or lift a bunch of weights or, play hoops for 5 hours.
It's funny you say that. There was a Pat, who was GSP's trainer?
The guy out of Montreal,
Yeah, I forget his name. It's something like, but he was on Joe Rogan, and he said that very thing. He's like, when I start people out, I don't have them do as many pull-ups as you can or work out till failure. I have you do 1 or 2, and then you come in tomorrow 2 or 3, because like you said, if you blast your muscles, you're so sore. Even if sometimes you're in shape, you're so sore. Like, dude, I can't move. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
And if you just slowly, incrementally do it, almost psychologically, like, wow, I did 2 yesterday, I did 4 today. I mean, you just start having those small successes that build to, like you said, you go walk to the mailbox, and soon enough, you're walking around the block.
Yep. And you're also building that emotional muscle too, and you're feeling good about the process rather than, oh shit, I'm so sore, I ain't doing that again.
Right.
I don't want to go do that again. That was painful. We avoid pain and we move towards pleasure. So
yeah, there is a huge mental component to a lot of it, like you were saying, bro. So you have some, I mean, obviously
our next guest, Silver.
What you talking about, Willis? Are you watching porn while we're doing this show, Pat? Come on, man.
No, continue, please.
So you have some pretty cool stuff going on. We were talking the other day, Tim, and obviously, you've been doing Facebook Live videos, talking to your health heroes pretty much every day, and I think that's absolutely awesome. You're taking it to another level, aren't you, my friend?
Yeah, very soon. We've set up a studio, and we're going to be launching the Health Hero Show podcast, and that's going to be cool. That'll be a weekly show. We're also going to step it up on all social media, so Instagram and Facebook and
So the show is
Twitter
called
and Snapchat and all that
Sure.
stuff we're putting all that together right now. So that's really exciting. I'm really pumped about that stuff because that's going to get our message out to more people that need it and want it.
What'd you say, Pat?
The show is called Health Hero, correct?
Health Hero Show.
I think that's a great name.
Yeah.
Well, that's how he
And the
starts
whole-
out all his videos. What's up,
Yeah, and the
Health
whole shtick is it's like you become a health hero, right? By changing yourself and
Right.
you improve your health. And just by the act of changing yourself, you give other people around you permission to do the same.
Hero? Ooh, a little
Don't go
Marianne
around
Williamson
telling
right
everybody
there.
what to do. What's that?
Little Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fears. That's what it is at the end. It's like when you get rid of your fears, you unconsciously give people permission to do the same thing. That's almost literally what it is.
Yes. And here's the downside of that is that it's not really a downside. It's some people are not going to change no matter what you do.
Right.
And the toughest part is they're usually you're most important to you, your loved ones and your closest friends. But if you stick with it, that's the best chance that you got of helping them. So
Yeah.
more importantly, so change yourself. So you become a health hero, and then you can lift other people up to have better health and a better life. Because if you don't have your health, I don't care how much money you got. When I was a financial advisor, I saw people coming in with millions of dollars and rental property schedules of real estate that were pages long, and they had to leave in the middle of the appointment because the acid reflux was so bad, or that it's just like they missed appointments for doctors. You don't have your health, you're screwed. You don't.
Well,
have
and
nothing.
you didn't come out, however many years ago. I saw some of your older pictures. You weren't missing any meals, my friend.
No, I was on the chopping block as far as my health goes. 38 pounds overweight, fatigued, skin issues on my elbows, my knee, my back, blood coming out of my stools. I had an operation to get an organ removed, and wasn't I was fat, inflamed and bloated, and I look back at those pictures, and like when I show people my before picture, they're like, I can't even believe that's you. I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how the hell I got there now.
Well, and that's what's really cool is that you're your own personal testimony. I mean, you get testimonials from people all the time from the people you helped, but I mean, you yourself, you're a walking testimony as the CEO of Chemical Free Body. You were there. You made the choice to transform your life through these different steps that you've already taken that you're asking other people to take. So the proof's in the pudding.
Simple. They're so simple. And it's like, I felt so inspired by this. I'm like, I have to tell other people about this. I'm like, because I was lost. I was confused. I was an athlete for 30 years. I played baseball at a high level. And, I was falling apart, man. It was just a matter of time before I had a heart attack or had to have another surgery or could have possibly gotten cancer. I mean, look around. Everybody's getting cancer. It's getting crazy. So I don't want to be any part of that stuff. I don't like going to the doctor. I don't want to have any more surgery. So I did it out of fear. I changed my life because I was scared because I saw what was going on around me. And I just lost a friend of mine at age 40 to stomach cancer on my baseball team. And that guy was ripped and he was in great shape. So I realized from that it's really about the inside out. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. But if your organ systems are not well taken care of and like a car, well maintained and cleaned and like we talk about the detox and have good fuel put in. If you're not doing that, man, it might not end up very well for you. So I didn't want to go down that road. Yeah, I don't want to go down that road. So it was basically out of fear that I made the changes.
So talk to us about vegan versus meat. How much did it change your life?
Well, it completely transformed my life. I mean, all my health issues that I just mentioned to you, most of them were gone in 60 days. But, I went from zero to hero. I mean, like literally the health hero, like boom, like that. And that's what we don't teach that now because in my story, because I had a friend with cancer and he had to do the lifestyle 100% because he was dying.
Right.
So I decided to do it with him to support him because I didn't want him to die. I just lost
changed your life too.
And it completely transformed my life. So again, I have people not change all their diet and exercise. We start daily detoxing first and drinking the water, chewing the food and that stuff. But within 60 days, man, and then by 8 months later, that big patch of psoriasis on my knee was completely gone. So total in 8 months, and I was like a whole new person, like literally. Like I got to get new clothes because I was wearing larges and extra larges, and I wear smalls and mediums again. And I feel good, and I've been able to maintain it for 9.5 years, and that's why I think I'm a pretty good model for people, because it's not. I mean, it's we're coming up on a decade now that I've kept this ship running.
Right.
And my body, and I'm getting healthier every year.
How often do you see that where people don't, they're in bad positions, you fix them, and then they kind of like lull themselves back into a sense of complacency, like, oh, I'm better now, I can go back to eating bad. Well, it
does happen. One thing I will say is I don't fix anybody. I don't heal anybody. I can't do that. I just, again, provide guidance and allow them to do it themselves. So, but some people do slip back a little bit, and they, come forward, and, everybody's on their own journey.
Yeah, true.
So, all I can do is just keep being me, giving them permission to, be super healthy. And, so at age 46, I can run, 30 barefoot sprints in the grass and do a lot of fun stuff with my kids that other dads sit along the sidelines and
Right.
can't do,
Yeah. So when you were at Hippocrates Health Institute, at what point in the process, how long were you there? And then at what point in the process did you say, I have to go vegan?
Well, it was on day 5, basically. Well, when you go there, you have no choice because that's all they have.
You're not eating meat.
Right, but that wasn't my choice. It was just my environment had changed at that point. And I can tell you, I went through a pretty hardcore detox the first 4 days. Day 4 was not fun for me. It was like headaches, night sweats, irritability. I was having hallucinations about hot wiring a car and going to McDonald's, and I hadn't even eaten McDonald's in 15 years.
Wow. Hold on, wait. You had a dream about hot wiring a car to go get McDonald's.
Yeah, dude, because you're on a 50-acre complex, and there's no cars or nothing. It's just like they have bicycles you ride around and stuff. I mean, you can get a rental car, but we didn't have one at the time. And man,
and you eat vegetables and beans and nuts and.
Is that a wall you notice people that you're coaching hit? They're like, man, I'm supposed to be feeling so good, but I'm feeling so quote unquote kind of bad. Is this?
No, not anymore. That's why we do the very gentle daily detox. So because average person's got a life. They got kids.
Yeah.
They got soccer practice. They're taking care of ill parents. There's traveling and vacations. All this stuff's going on. When you go to Hippocrates, you're there to do one thing, to learn and to heal. When you're at work and you got all this stuff going on, most people, they're not going to go through that. You can't, dude. I couldn't function on day 4, and I went to bed at like 8 o'clock and just pulled the covers over my head, hoping to God that the next day I woke up it was going to be over, because they said day 4 or 5 the detox, you come out of the detox, the initial hard part of it,
right?
And it did. And on day 5 I woke up, and man, I felt like I had vitality and energy running through my blood. And I looked at Charles. I said, "Dude, you're going to live." He's like, "Yeah, I think I am." I'm like, "I'll do this whole thing with you. I'm going plant-based and rock and roll." And that was the day, Pat, that I made that decision. It was on day 5, looking my friend in the eye and just supporting him, and decided I was going to do it, and I did it.
I'm seeing a lot more people fasting now too. Kelly Jeffries, another one of our sponsors from Dish TV. I mean, he did I think it was 72 hours, and he said afterward, well, obviously it was tough, but afterwards he said he felt amazing. I'm seeing a lot more of that. People are starting to catch on, man. That
Yeah. And again, for those listening, if you're dealing with a serious health concern, you really look into, again, I don't give medical advice, but a 3-day water fast 3 to 5 day water fast will completely reset your body and your immune system. It's pretty powerful stuff. And if it gets tough, you can always start mixing in the greens and stuff like that, like our Green 85 formula, and chug that down 3, 4, 5 times a day. So if you've never fasted before, what's that?
The Greens 85, again, I know we're just plugging away at it, but I'm telling you, for me, I mean, even the gut stuff, critical cleanse, et cetera, taking care of your gut, because if people don't know, you have more serotonin in your gut than in your brain, and truly your gut health is how you are able to absorb some of these nutrients and micronutrients in your food. If your gut's messed up, it's really, you got to fix your gut.
Yeah, and serotonin's the happy juice. So if you want to be happy, you might want to have a lot of serotonin in your body, right? And like you said, most of it's in the gut. So that's our main focus, is helping people learn to take care of their gut, make it easy.
For sure. Well, another sort of announcement that you got going on, another thing that I've noticed is starting to become more mainstream, if you will, is some of these ceremonies, some of these things, if you will, that people are getting into that stem from some Amazonian, Peruvian jungle stuff. Why don't you talk about some stuff you got planned for August? What's going down?
Sure. So, as you guys know, I think the last episode I was on, I did a liver cleanse and showed you my my liver stones.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. So I am on the hunt every single day, trying to find anything I can to improve myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And in a few weeks, I'm going to an ayahuasca ceremony, and for those listening, it's a very powerful plant medicine that, when worked with properly, can change your life. So I had a couple guys throughout the years, this before I got into all this health stuff, business owners and stuff like that, and professionals, and like 3 or 4 of them told me, like, yeah, I did this ayahuasca deal. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. They go to the jungle, and shamans, and they, a lot of people are throwing up and that kind of stuff when they drink it. And they all said the same thing. It changed my life. And they were drop dead serious. I was like, well, that sounds cool, but I ain't doing that deal. So, went on with my life. And after Hippocrates, I realized that there was more. There was more that I wanted to tap into spiritually. I didn't know what it was, and I really worked on that. And I think through meditation and a lot of stuff I've been doing, I've made some good inroads in my life spiritually, like big time. And I feel really good about that now. Before I was completely lost. And I've even met some people that have done ayahuasca and spent time with them. And I felt like I was kind of up close to that level with some of the work that I've done without it. And, but it's pretty cool. Do you guys know much about it?
Yeah. The death vine, they call it.
Yeah, that was originally called that. So ayahuasca is just a tea that is made from 2 plants, and basically the active ingredient is called DMT. It's dimethyl tryptamine, which is also known as the spirit molecule, and it's found in all living things. So this is really cool. Every living thing, every plant, every being has DMT in it. So the problem is, like, if you eat a bunch of plants, when you ingest it, your body actually blocks the uptake of DMT. Now, your pineal gland, I think your liver and your lungs also make it. But here's the cool thing. The only time DMT in your body is released is when you die. Yeah. And that's kind of trippy. So what I've learned from a lot of people is, like, that molecule is released to help you kind of shed and smooth out all the rough crap that's happened to you in your lifetime and make your transition back to, your higher self, God, he, she, whatever you want to call it, the one, smooth and easy. And what this ayahuasca does is that you take this tea and you can actually release that molecule, and you get to experience the effects of DMT for 7 to 8 hours. Ooh. 7 to freaking 8 hours. Now, some people smoke it, and it lasts like 20 minutes, but I'm doing I don't want to smoke anything, so I don't want it in my lungs. But
I want to eat it.
So I'm drinking it.
Drinking it, yeah.
I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, isn't there something with the MAOI inhibitors or something that helps release the DMT into the body? That helps, yeah, because normally I guess it doesn't.
Yeah. So, it's made out of 2 plants, and the first one's the jungle leaf. It's called Psychotria viridis, or it's also known as chacruna, and it's loaded with DMT. The second one is it's a flowering vine called Banisteropius caapi, also known as the vine of the soul. This is the MAO inhibitor that you're talking about. MAO inhibitor stands for short is it's monoamine oxidase inhibitor. Basically, it stops your body from blocking the absorption of the DMT so that it can get into your bloodstream and the brain. So when you take this flower in, you can now, when you mix them, that flowering vine allows it to get into the blood and go through the blood-brain barrier and get into your brain, which is pretty powerful. So think about this, like, these indigenous people with no labs or nothing figured out a way to get DMT into your brain and into your blood by mixing it
through hundreds or thousands of years of
exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
that is pretty.
Let's talk about the effects of DMT and what people come out like on the other side.
Yeah, so a lot of people have used DMT recreationally and for certain spiritual ceremonies like Jeffrey was talking about. They have all spoken of the same effects. Being, propelled into an egoless existence in some type of otherworldly dimension where the self is merged with energy and the ego is stripped, and people get these visions, and those are experienced, and many of them describe it as like it's just really indescribable. A lot of people have also
a spiritual experience.
Yeah, and a lot of people have testified that
They've talked
the time doesn't exist under the influence of DMT, and enters you into a state of oneness. And everyone that I've spoken with, like I said, they all said the same thing. It changed my life. So I pulled from all that past stuff. My girlfriend now she's kind of a practicing shaman.
Nice.
She's done it like 9 times.
Wow.
And when they do it basically on Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to be taking it twice on a Friday and a Saturday. So in reality, she's done it 18 times.
So where is this taking place, number one?
Well, I can't disclose it.
What state? How's that?
Well, it's in Oregon. That's where I'm at.
In Oregon. And will you be filming this experience?
No, that's not allowed.
It is allowed.
But
you say it's allowed.
see.
So, I mean,
we'll see. This lady's been doing it for 20 years, Pat.
DMT experiment, right? I want it filmed. Yeah. I want it on film because I want to know what happened.
What? No, there is a great documentary. I think it's on Netflix or somewhere where there's like, I think it was 4 or 5 maybe celebrities or something. I'm just remembering Chelsea Handler is one of them. She went down there and they did do it twice. So the first night she did it, it was so weird, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest for you to watch it. Everybody takes it and everybody has their experience except for Chelsea. She's so, you could just tell she's so, it was impressive how she was mentally blocking out the effects of DMT. She's like, oh, I don't know why you guys are tripping. I don't feel anything. The next night she did it, and they were doing it in a group. The next night she did it was just with the shaman, the medicine man.
She blasted off.
And it was a complete, like, she's bawling. She's talking about her family. I mean, she's open. She literally, it was just weird, that transition from the one night of her attempting, because that those people like, oh, I don't feel nothing. No, it's not going to affect me. And she almost made herself not feel it. And then the next night she totally opened up, and it was really, really a beautiful thing, man. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm almost scared to do it. But I would love to come out that other end. Just like, wow, dude, that was freaking amazing.
Yeah. My girlfriend told me about it, and she said, usually it can take up to 2 hours for it to take effect, or it might not take effect. She said she's had trips where she just blasted off immediately. It was just out into the stratosphere. And then she said that two of the 18 times, it was like she didn't even have any at all.
Really?
So what's really important is that people eat a really clean diet before they do it. It's really important that they don't have, sex, at least, like I think 72 hours. I have a list of things. You can't have like spicy foods or fermented foods. There's certain things on the food list. You want to stay away from alcohol, all this stuff. And then you have to go into it with a really good attitude, and then you have to realize that this is medicine and that you have to treat it as such, and you have to go in with a focus. And then after you go through the experience, that's when you just set with it, and you really want to take the time to allow it to work your way through its body. It's pretty cool. Like I realize that the DMT actually affects the amygdala of the brain, and it goes into memories and can help like sweep out or rewire like bad past traumas, so that they don't affect you and keep holding you back, and you can let go of them. Maybe dad beat you, or your something happened, somebody molested you, or you just had a bad experience in your life, or maybe you didn't make the choir and everybody laughed at you, and you didn't think much of it back then, but it's holding you back.
Yeah, it does.
It affects everybody. And all I know is, again, way back in the day, talking to those 3-4 friends of mine that were business professionals, and they all had this stone cold look on their face. They're like, dude, that shit changed my life. And I was like,
Well, and it's a beautiful thing, man. Like, again, almost like the health issues. People are becoming more and more wise to it. You just saw, Colorado just legalized mushrooms. And I mean, I'm not advocating just go out recreationally do it, because this stuff is very powerful. The active ingredient in mushrooms is psilocybin. And, you see, certain therapists giving MDMA to some of their couples and helping marriages. So some of these hardcore psychedelic, psychotropic medicines are now finally getting their due respect. Like you said,
Yeah.
Pat or whoever said it, it's been around for thousands of years.
Oh yeah.
And it's been demonized, but now people are actually starting to understand the real spiritual and health benefits, like, from depression, PTSD, I quit smoking, I quit drink, or whatever it is, man. It's transforming people's lives.
Oh yeah, I mean, people are just getting off all kinds of problems and addictions. In fact, I don't know if you guys know Terrence McKenna. He's kind of like a DMT expert. He says DMT is mushrooms times a million plus aliens.
Wow.
Well, and it's funny listening to like Aubrey Marcus and Joe Rogan. They do that stuff a lot. So it's like hearing their testimonies of it. I mean, I don't want to scare people off or whatever, but sometimes it's not always pleasant, the process, because it is a process. And then coming out the other end, oftentimes you're better. But there is, lack of a better term, a spiritual cleansing that goes on. You have to purge some of these negative emotions, negative experiences, and relive them, if you will. But you come out the other end really. Not that I've done it, but I've just seen and read about it for years, and it's definitely changed a lot of people, man. I'm sorry,
and like,
Pat.
what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, it's like you throw up.
Well, you
know what I'm saying?
you can have a code brown too. There's some code browns that go on down there too.
Yeah.
It happens.
Tell me about the code brown. Let's elaborate.
Well, I mean, it just happens. You shit yourself, man. You know what I mean? It's your body. You kind of just, as you're releasing all this spiritual stuff, you're purging vomit, you're purging poo, you're just purging toxicity. And that's what I was going to ask you, Tim. And even your wife or your girlfriend or other, have you heard any quote unquote bad trips? About any bad trips?
There was a gal that was new, that was at her group last time, and she was like freaking out, and the women had to kind of hold her down for about 20 minutes until she settled down. But things can't happen like that. I'm to the point. You just brought something up though. I think I'm going to fast for about 3 days before I go in there, so I don't have any code browns.
But while they're doing
sure
it, they're
I'm cleaned
completely
out.
unaware of it. They're so moving into that other dimension. They're not.
Yeah.
What, I puked? I shat myself? What? I don't even remember. But I think it's cool. So, I mean, I guess right now is a perfect kind of before and after. I would definitely want to do and let this be the before. What are you kind of expecting from it? And when you come back from it, we're definitely going to talk about how it was. Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed it?
Well, I'm hopeful that I'll say it changed my life. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more clarity in my life, and more joy, more happiness, more excitement, and if I have some past stuff, traumas or what they may be, that I can bring up and get rid of and rewrite them and feel better about myself and feel lighter and be able to move forward quicker and help more people, then that's why I'm doing it. For my own selfish reasons, but again, by me making the changes in myself, that's how I give other people permission to do it. So I'm, I'm a guinea pig. I do everything on myself first before I recommend it to anybody. And I'm ready. I'm ready for this now. So I'm really excited about it, and I'll definitely let you guys know on the backside what's up.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. When you told me you were going to do it, I was just like, oh my God, like you're a perfect I mean, you, like you said, you've already done kind of your own spiritual work, obviously your health work, and like you said, you're almost ready for this to embrace this kind of next level of spirituality, if you will. So, I mean, I think people who do have those bad trips, whether it's psilocybin, acid, or ayahuasca, I think they're just not ready. I think even in our normal life, we need to kind of meditate and kind of put things in perspective, because there's so much stuff going on in our brain. Sometimes we don't even remember that we remember, and then we go do something like that, and it's just like they're just flooded with stuff that really they just can't handle.
Or they may have something that's really, really traumatic they're releasing. Could be good. Yeah, for sure. Again, mind state.
I think it's important, whether it's released to the public or not, to at least film it so that you can go back and watch it.
Yeah. I will ask permission. See if I can do that.
Pat Millett
you guys have a hidden camera I can put up somewhere?
This is kind of crazy taboo talk if you think about it. When I was younger, when we ate mushrooms, for instance, didn't do it that often, but I tried it a few times and had some amazing experiences on it that, you didn't tell anybody. You didn't.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You don't know that you did mushrooms. My goodness, are you crazy? So now here we are talking about DMT, ayahuasca, and just basically saying, look, this is what I'm going to go do, and it's kind of an interesting different angle and concept and mindset that we've reached in today's world, that I'm going to go do ayahuasca and I'm telling the world. And that's
because I think there's less and less of, to use a term, there's less and less reefer madness going around. If you smoke reefer, you're going to jump out of the window and rape a woman. I mean, we're just more educated now, whether it's that or whether it's, the psychedelics. We just, like I said, doctors are using MDMA and marital counseling, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just
spiritual awakening.
Exactly. There has been just more elevation of consciousness.
Right.
And you guys all know that a lot of this has been, they try to lump it. This fear mongering is what it is. Anything that's good for people, it seems like, well, most things that are good for people, it's like they try to suppress it, especially if it replaces a synthetic version somewhere else where there's money to be made.
Yes.
Yeah. Oxycontins, i.e. Oxycontins.
Yeah. I mean, when you have like I said, I haven't experienced ayahuasca yet, but from my research and the people that I know closely, intimately, that have done it multiple times,
it's amazing.
I'm excited about it, and it makes sense for my life path right now. So I'm going to do it, but that's bad because it gets lumped into drugs. But it's a plant medicine. If you treat it as such and treat it with respect and do it right, make sure you're getting the good stuff, then you're fine. But it's okay that like we have a huge opioid crisis, and it's okay to keep prescribing that stuff. So it's just
exactly
stupid.
This is a part of what we talk about on the show, ladies and gentlemen, the inversion of reality. Up is down and down is up. But, I'll be anxious to hear the follow-up, man. I really, really am, because, I'm a big fan of yours, love you to death. And, you have helped me, change a lot of my eating habits and, Green 85 and then cleaning my gut. Like I wasn't full on, anything really bad, but it was just, I just noticed certain things like skin conditions, like you said. I would have an occasional I don't know if it was acid reflux or whatever it was, but it all just kind of went away, dude. It was, things have slowly changed, and I haven't even put it 100% in it. So if I was to really, really, knock it out, I can only imagine, the changes that can happen.
Dude, that's awesome.
I'm not getting.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah, thank
that's
you,
great.
man. Thank you. And I'm not getting any younger. We're none of us getting any younger. So I was talking to a friend the other day. We've lost some friends lately, and it's just like, man, we're kind of getting into that like drop dead mode. I thought he was fine, like you said, he looked good, he was ripped, but he had a heart attack or a stroke, and it's just like, man, fuck, you gotta really be way more conscious.
Inside, baby.
Yeah.
And the reality is, we're all going to go someday, but the bottom line for me is like, I'm going to make sure that while I'm here, I'm as healthy as I possibly can be. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to set a great example for my children, my family, and the community members around me. And I'm just going to lead by example. And I just refuse to age. I'm not going to age emotionally. My body will age, but I'm going to slow that process down as much as possible. And I'm going to be the grandpa or great grandpa sprinting down the beach with the great grandkids. Cool like, stuff. How is that possible? Well, that guy loved himself. That's what it boiled down to. And I was willing to do what it took and willing to do what other people weren't willing to do because they were afraid to embarrass themselves in front of other people to say, no to the white bun with the, the hot dog in it. Or he wasn't afraid to go do some ayahuasca or, chew his food or do some breath work before he ate. What's Tim over there doing? Breathing. Or what's that breath work?
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about it, to show and prove. People need that, man. You walk it like you talk it. And so, like, again, when people get to know you and they see your pictures and people think, oh, you're just trying to sell some products. Like, no, dude, I was in a bad place. I made the choice to transform my life, and here's how I did it. Those kind of personal testimonials goes a long, long way.
Yeah. And all people have to do is just get on our program for 90 days and it's over. They're going to feel better. There's no way it's not going to happen. That's not possible.
Awesome sauce.
Cool.
Well, Patrick, any closing comments, statements for our boy here before we head? It's actually, you're not even going to the jungle. You guys are, like you said, Oregon, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I from that documentary, it's very common in California, the West Coast, that they're getting. I'm not saying this is you, but you're getting stuff. People are getting stuff shipped over, and they're having these ceremonies, if you will, in people's homes. And that's just a beautiful thing. You don't necessarily have to go to desert. The medicine can come to you, and not the desert, but the jungle.
I want to go to a sweat lodge and do it. That's all I can say.
A what?
I have to. If I'm going to do it, ayahuasca, I'm going to be in a sweat lodge in Arizona in a 130-degree tent or teepee, and just sit there and sweat it out.
I don't know what that'll
do.
Yeah.
I just have to do it.
That way, you want to make it that much harder on yourself? Because the way I see it, they're in these little huts in the jungle, and they're kind of sitting in a circle, and they're on like little yoga mats, and They're kind of just chilling, waiting for it to kick in. And what's really fascinating, bro, is when you start talking about some interdimensional, extra-dimensional stuff, some of the information I've seen and I've read, you have, say, 5 people, and they will all see the same entity. They'll all kind of see the same thing.
Yes.
And that's lets you know, like, man,
That's a bit wild.
You're tapping into something, man. When all 5 of you guys are seeing the same whatever it is, that's some pretty serious stuff, man. It's really cool, though.
Yeah. And a lot of people get scared about that stuff. I'm getting excited about it, you know. You probably noticed that where maybe your girlfriend or your wife, you said something and she had the same thought at the same time. You're like, then it happens because your frequencies are linked, you're synced. You know, that's how that works. And we have that ability to do that. We just we're so busy flipping channels and flipping through Facebook and doing all that stuff and disconnecting.
Well, that's kind of what we were talking about with Sam Tripoli today on the first part of our 100th episode. You know, we don't understand. There's so much going on outside of what we can perceive. You know, our limited biological system, our spacesuit here can only perceive through our sight and our smell and our feel and touch, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, the light spectrum, we know X-ray exists. We know infrared exists. We know gamma rays exist. We can't see them. We know they're there. And that's just scratching the surface of what's going on outside of what we can perceive. So I'll be so anxious for. So when's this going down again? What's the date?
Yeah, when is it?
It'll be in a few weeks.
He doesn't want
first part of late July, early August, I'll be completed, and then I'll give you guys a buzz and let you know what happened.
So is there some sort of questionnaire or preparation you do for DMT?
Yeah, of course. There's the meals and things you should abstain from. Like I said, like, you know, sex for a certain amount of time. You should, you know, make sure you're not smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana, smoking anything. You just want to be clean. Otherwise, that can really affect the medicine and your experience.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
This is you've got to film this. You've got to film it.
Well, I'm glad actually you said that because I never even thought about it, but that's a good idea.
I mean, for the archives though, that would be amazing for your personal archives. That would just be really cool to look back on it. But I mean, whatever. The impact's going to be.
It would be cool.
No, but the impact's going to be an internal one.
Show us the footage of you shitting yourself. You don't have to.
That's almost. That's a must, dude. Are you kidding me? We'll mosaic out your face.
I've already done that. I did that on the liver cleanse episode.
You did. Then you pull out those little freaking pebbles that you held in your hand, or little shit fragments. I'm like, wow, this guy is going hard in the paint, dude. He doesn't.
He's rolling his poop in the balls.
You know what I mean? And collecting them. You had like 50 in your hand. I'm like, dude. And you're like, yeah, I had to pick it out of my. I'm like, all right. I take your word for it.
They just floated in the toilet, dude. I just had to scoop them up. It was easy.
Did you smell your fingers after you were done? I joke.
Of course.
I'm guessing you're going to want to get some sort of enema or something before this. Get cleaned out.
Before the ayahuasca deal?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'll probably fast for 3 days, and then I have a badass silicone
bag. Be colonic and get cleaned out so that you don't shit yourself.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Pat.
I'm just throwing it out there. Dude.
We are really super focused on the Code Brown here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, I am super happy.
I was not worried about anything until now.
Tim's gonna go into it wearing a diaper.
That one hot chick that's sitting across from you doing ayahuasca and you shit yourself, it doesn't work out well.
Like, why is Tim wearing a diaper? I don't get it.
What's going to happen now is I'm going to revert back to a 3-year-old. I'm going to be painting with that stuff on the wall, and I'll write Pat, Jeffrey, Conspiracy Farm.
Pat, I'm filming it. Check this out.
The hot blonde across from you won't be admiring your artwork.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this whole process. Like you said, the one thing that really, really happens paramount is it strips the ego. You're not even thinking about stuff like that. So that's a really cool part of the process, man. I'm really happy for you, dude. I'm happy for the podcast. Yeah. I'm happy for you taking things to the next level. And I'm happy and thankful that you have decided to take a bit of a risk and put your name and your company's name and reputation on the line to come on board with the Conspiracy Farm. Almost literally, ladies and gentlemen, from day one. Tim James has been on the team for a very hot second, and I can't thank him enough for it, man.
Well, and I can tell you why I did it is because when I met Pat, I felt like we were cut from the same cloth. Is because, you know, he's just like my dad, where, you know, you do what's right, you avoid what's wrong, and that's it. He's a good human being and a good man, and much love your way, man. I've got to meet you, Jeffrey, and I totally feel the same about you. You guys are good people. That's what it boils down to. You're real people trying to do really good things to help other people have a better life.
Information, true information, right?
Information is power, man. Is power. Well, Tim, gonna let you slide, my man. chemicalfreebody.com/farmer. If for whatever reason, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook seems to be not cooperating with us. If for whatever reason you cannot click that link, if it says page not found, just cut and paste it into the URL space. It should work. Normally it should work. If it just, like I said, I think it's just Facebook. Twitter, it's fine. chemicalfreebody.com/farmer and get the Greens 85, people. Come on. And the gut cleanse, all of it. But the Greens 85, for me, all of it's been game-changing. But the Greens 85, like I wake up literally almost every day, throw a scoop in my water, and it just changes my whole day. Energy, like I said, I sleep better, I poop better. I mean, it's just game-changing stuff, man. I know it's maybe too much information, but it works. It works. It absolutely works.
You guys got to check out Pat when you got that like cup that you put the greens in that's got the ice cubes in it that light up.
I mean, today I wasn't using a mason jar. I was using a Mickey Mouse Club cup. So
maybe I'm using too much, Tim, because when I put mine in my cup and I tried to test it out with a cube, the water, it was too dark. You couldn't see the light.
Oh, okay.
It's very, ladies and gentlemen, it is very, very concentrated greens. Like if you're not a big veggie person, I get it. I mean, this stuff will get you all of your nutrients and your micronutrients in a scoop or two, right? I mean, it's...
Yeah, I actually have Dr. Treadway actually figuring it out, but I think it's going to end up somewhere between, one scoop is somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds of fresh cut vegetables grown in a really dense nutrient
That's
soil.
incredible.
That is...
Say that again.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Oh, I wanted to give you guys a free gift,
Say
too,
that
for
again.
everybody listening.
Hold on. Tim.
Say that again, Tim. What's the equivalent of what's it equivalent of?
2 scoops.
Well, he's doing the research, but it's going to end up probably somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds of fresh picked, organic, naturally occurring vegetables that have been grown in
sprouted
super dense, good soil. That's the key.
You clearly cannot eat that much vegetables in one sitting. So I mean, you're getting it all chalked into like one, and it's water. You throw it in water, and it tastes fantastic too. It's not something that you got to choke down. It tastes really well.
It tastes like a vegetable.
Yeah, liquid vegetables.
Yeah, awesome.
V8 on steroids.
Yeah, and they have that code too. That make sure they use the farmer code and get the 5% off their first order. That's important.
Yeah, promo code when you check out, ladies and gentlemen. Throw that promo code farmer in there. Chemical Free Body /farmer, and then as you're checking out, throw that promo code in there, and you will get discounts on products. And Tim, man, I love you, brother. Thank you for joining us for this 100th episode. We're looking forward to 100 more, and Tim is taking his stuff to the next level, which is going to help us take our stuff to the next level. Check out the video I have on my YouTube page, or even the video that is in the Chemical Free Body /farmer of Pat, and him talking about the chemical free or the greens and just all that it's done for him. The dude's busy as heck, man, and some of that stuff has just been helping him definitely stay up with his crazy stuff.
I don't get sick. That's all I know. I don't get sick.
For sure.
And what's that worth?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Any closing statements, Timothy?
Love yourself and follow your highest excitement. Take care of yourself, and just let the changes begin. If you're not where you want to be in your life, you're gonna have to make some changes. Let's just make them small and make them consistent, and let them take root and see where they take you.
The choice is yours, ladies and gentlemen. The choice is yours to choose a better quality of life. www.theconspiracyfarm.com, www.chemicalfreebody.com /farmer. This has been the El Jefe of Chemical Free Body. Tim James, look out for his podcast and look out for the follow-up on the ayahuasca. Woot, woot. Can't wait, brother. Love you, my man. Patrick, awesome. Thank you again for allowing me to be on this ride with you. 100 episodes, my friend. Looking forward.
100 Centennial.
I love it, dude. I love it. And looking forward to 100 more. Peace and so much love. Everyone, take care. Stay tuned.
Thanks, guys.
There will always be more.